Yes.
You ready? Okay. What we're going to talk about in this video is patching a tire. We don't really per se do anything different from any other shop. Obviously we want to patch a tire when it's in the middle of the tire. You got that last shoulder, that last block of shoulder on the outside. Use discretion if you decide you're going to patch in there. Obviously, have discussions with customers about the downfall, things like that. As a general rule, we don't want to patch anywhere near the sidewall. Obviously, every situation has its own set of circumstances that you need to potentially discuss with the customer. Here we have a nail that is dead center in the tire. Obviously, we've set this up, but we set this up where the nail is super easy for us to get out. What you want to do, obviously, dig it out, whatever tool you need to use to dig it out. A tip to help you dig it out is leave air in the tire. This will also help you ream it out. So if you go and take the air out of the tire before you get this out and you ream it, then the tire is pliable and it's much harder to get out and much harder to ream. So I'm going to take this out and then we'll kind of walk through it from there. Get that out. We generally will save it in case the customer wants to see what it is. Sometimes they're concerned or interested. We would then show them at that point. So, we use a reamer. We have a couple different reamers. I'm going to use this one for this purpose. Another thing that often helps is actually when you actually find the hole, you mark it. So that way you know where the hole was. So, but I'm going to ream it. You notice how I can, if you do it when the air's out, the tire becomes pliable, it's much harder to do so. Take your valve core out. That'll help release the air. Don't ever throw valve cores away. Some valve cores are specific to the TPMS sensor. If we don't replace the valve stem, we will try and reuse the old valve core. Got the air out of the tire. We're going to break it down. We break down every tire as though it has TPMS. Once we find out that it doesn't have TPMS, then obviously you can handle it in a different way, but always assume that it does have a tire pressure monitoring system. So, that's the tire dismounted. I always take the rim off, put it to the side. Why do I take the rim off? Well, tires have rocks and such in them. If you take the tire and you put it on top of the rim, you then scratch up the rim. So I encourage you to take that rim off of there, because if you scratch up the rim, you'll buy the next one. So now we use a grinding tool like this on this hole. Colin, if you want to come over here and get a little closer so we can actually, we'll go through this. Need to be careful. This thing will eat up the tire. It will destroy the tire. So you don't want to go crazy with this thing because it will literally just burn a hole right through the tire. So the idea is we want a nice clean surface that's ground down. All right, see if you can get in there and get a good look at that. So the idea is we have a ground down surface that's bigger than the diameter of the patch. So that's what we're looking for. If it's obviously not bigger than the diameter of the patch, the patch won't stick. So at this point, we want to, I kind of angle the hole this way. Take your cleaner, spray this in there, and the idea behind this is, it doesn't take a lot, but the idea behind this is, and you got a scraper that looks like that, you're going to scrape this off. Here. Go ahead and get in there. So the idea behind that is you got a nice clean surface that no longer has any debris on it. Put that back. You take your cement. This guy. You don't need a ton of it. You're going to cover your spot. So you covered your spot, not super thick, just a nice coating of it. Now, depending on temperature and other things, don't go away. Roll this down. Depending on the temperature and humidity and things like that, the idea is to wait 3 to 5 minutes before you actually put the patch on. So I get ready, I get things in place. With the patches we use, you can peel off the red sticker. That's to stop this. This actually has adhesive on it. Throw that away. Actually stick that through there. Now, one of the keys on this is, you see this metal? If you pull that metal, it'll just pull the metal out of the actual patch plug. What you want to grab is the rubber. So you grab a pair of just regular old here. Grab a pair of regular, what are these called? Pliers? Yeah, pliers. Thank you. So the idea is I'm going to grab as much of that rubber as I possibly can. I'm going to pull that through. I'm going to make sure I'm all the way through. At this point, I'm through. Now, we got a tool that looks like this. You actually rub that out. Get it every which way. That actually adheres it. For the purposes of this video, obviously we didn't wait 3 to 5 minutes. And you gotta make a call on that. There'll be days where you look at it and man, it's super runny. Just wait a little bit longer. So you rub that guy out. It's nice and smooth on there. So it's sitting like that. I like to peel the plastic off because I don't want it falling off in there. So that's off. Obviously goes in the garbage. Now at this point, your next move is you got this thing dangling on the outside. So I will take this. You don't want to just cut it because then it leaves it hanging. So you make it a little taut, You cut it, now it's sitting flush. At that point, it's remount the tire. So in this scenario, we'll walk through remounting the tire. You can go back to the stand. Got your old rim. Set up. Good. Okay. So the key in this is always, and we talked about this in another video, but anytime you have a rubber valve stem and we're taking the tire on or off, I don't care if you just patched this tire 12 minutes ago, you're putting another valve stem in. Just make it a habit. So we got this tool. This rips out the old valve stem. In this scenario, we're going to use a shorter valve stem because it's an alloy rim. Take the cap off, put your cap up there, put it in your mouth, do whatever you want to do with it, but you're going to need it again. Pull that back in there. Now I take the core out at this point because I'm here and I'm playing with the valve stem itself. So I get that out of there. Okay, so now I'm ready to mount the tire. We always try and mount it the way we took it off. In this scenario, this thing was offset to the left, so I know that was on the bottom. So you're going to use some tire glue. Wrap that around. Walk this on. So I'm going to go over a little tip. So if you got a stubborn tire that won't go on the rim, or you got a lower profile tire, now this will walk on pretty easily, but I'm going to give you a tip. You want to wedge this into here, get the tire walking on the point that it's supposed to on the tire machine, right down, and this actually allows that feed to walk around much easier. Just like so. Everything out of the way. So, with this guy on here, now I got my valve core out of there. The second, here's one of the keys. The second I get my bead on the rim, why? Because if you got too much pressure on here, and you heard how that tire just popped, that thing's clamped, it'll pop the rim right off of these clamps. Don't ever assume that these clamps are actually holding this tire on. So, from here on out, fill it up. We always fill it up to the actual recommended specification for the manufacturer, which is generally on the pillar of the door frame. I tend to go a pound or two above that. Gives them a little cushion to drop down. Most tires don't need hammers. So, in this scenario, we'll say the tire's supposed to be at 32. I put this thing up to about 36, so I know when I take this off, I'm going to lose a little air. So 34, a couple pounds over where I want to be. Cap on. And I'm ready to go. My next move is balance this tire.